people. Now for those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Dan Bethel and I do a hot rod show here on YouTube called Bethel Brothers Hot Rod. In that episode I alluded that my brother and I are Ron Paul supporters. He's running for president here in the United States, those of you who don't know who he is. I said that I was going to do a video specifically about why I like him as a candidate, so here is said video. Please bear with me. I will try to get all this out and keep your attention as I do so. There's a couple things that I'd like to bring up before I get started on this. How I like how Ron Paul is a true Republican, and a lot of people don't understand the difference between Republican and Democrat. The Founding Fathers set up the United States as a republic, and so everybody was Republicans. It wasn't until later in our history that Democrats came out. Basically, the difference between the two, the Republicans believe that the power belongs to the states and the people have the power to vote. They in turn send an elected representative to Washington, or wherever the capital was during then, and discuss and pass laws in that said manner. So one state could like things a certain way and vote on it, where the neighboring state wouldn't like that. So, but in any sense, the Republicans would say yes, the state that voted for it and liked it gets it, and the state that voted no on it, well, they don't have to have it. It is their right. Now Democrats, they believe that the power lies with the federal government, and your elected officials go there, pass law, and then send it back to you in the form of like a mandate. And I don't really like that particular brand of our system, but it's a democracy and there's room for everybody. Ron Paul likes to follow the Constitution, which was laid out by our forefathers, and basically it's a verbatim list in case there's any misunderstanding within the rights of, say, the individual person, how long a person gets to serve in government, how old they have to be to do so, what happens if somebody starts acting up, what are the rights you have to go after somebody like that. Anyway, he's a true believer in democracy, voting, people's rights, freedoms. He doesn't like that people are overtaxed. That's one thing he would like to get rid of, is federal income tax. And anybody that gets taxed here in the United States could tell you it's a high percentage of their income. Ron Paul would really like to return government back to that form, limit government's ability to tell us what we have the rights to do and not do. So the states would basically vote for on what they liked and didn't like, and then Ron Paul, if he was elected president, would thereby say, yes, that's okay. So you have to understand, some people get freaked out by that. Well, what if somebody wants something bad? Well, do you really think the entire state in which you live in, somebody would go, oh man, I need me some crack? How many people are going to vote for crack? You know what I mean? That's crazy talk. So I don't really think you'd have to worry about that. Another thing that he gets trouble about is his foreign policy, which he preaches peace. Instead of saying, hey, I'd like to go to war with you, how about I'd like to trade with you? And for some reason, there's a lot of people out there that thinks that's crazy talk. They bring up Iran, where he doesn't want to sanction them, rather talk to them. People worry about them getting a nuclear weapon or making enriched uranium to be able to do that. Now let me tell you something about this country. Iran is one of the richest countries in oil there is, okay? If they wanted to, they could buy one from anybody on the planet that would want to sell them one. So I really, all this stuff that's going on over there, I'm not saying that I understand all of it, but just take a good look at it is all I'm saying. I mean, really, these are leaders of countries, not just some dude in a Durka hut, you know what I mean? They have money. Another thing that Ron Paul would like to do if he's in office is audit the Federal Reserve. And these are the guys that are printing money, sending millions out to countries saying, here, use our money, build your nation, love us, and then do business with us, and we'll take your resources. That's pretty much what's going on. He would rather, after auditing them and then finding out who all these rich guys that took the money were, which Newt Gingrich, who's running for president, would be on that list. Mitt Romney, who's also running for president, would be on that list. And Rick Santorum actually voted for stuff to get those guys who are on that list that money, the bailout money. So Ron Paul voted no against it. So there's a win in my book on his side. He also wants to go back to the gold standard. And a lot of people think, oh, that's crazy, you're going to get paid in little purses of gold. No, it would mean that however much gold we have in this country, in Fort Knox, in our computers, that if you piled it all together, that's how much money you're worth as far as gold. Now, that's just one piece of it. Silver's also in there, copper, even scrap metals. So your nation's wealth is based upon what you have within it, not how many times I can stamp out a dollar bill that doesn't actually have value. That's why our debt is so big. And Obama and those guys keep borrowing money, and it's crazy. Now, something else you might want to consider. Mitt Romney is out in the first position. He was the Massachusetts governor, okay? And he passed Romney Care. Now, from my perspective, he's a business guy, right? He understands where there's money at. Now, if he passes his health care, which he did, it meant that all of his buddies could now invest their money into healthcare systems because there's a lot of money flooding into it. It's a mandated system. It was so bad that people actually opted to pay a fine rather than have to buy his care, which he basically made it outlawed to not have insurance and go in and ask for help if you're sick. Nice guy. Him, Newt Gingrich, and Rick Santorum all vote to help these guys out, the guys that it benefits them, their friends, not the middle class, not the lower class. Ron Paul wants to level the playing field for everybody. So in my book, rather than, you know, taking everybody's money and running into a corner with it, he's actually trying to benefit everybody as a whole. What else can I say about him? He's a great dude. He's a doctor. He's delivered 4,000 kids into the world. He signed up twice for Vietnam to work as a field surgeon, so he understands veterans and veteran affairs. Not only that, he's not just a doctor and a politician, but this guy actually understands every piece of the government. And I don't mean just in a little bit. Ron Paul has so much knowledge in his head that sometimes when he's trying to get it out, it doesn't really convey or come across to the people. You have to actually look up several different things just to get what he said in one sentence. So you got to remember that. He's been fighting for your freedoms. He's been fighting for your liberties since the 70s. Now look back on any of these other guys running for president or our current president. How long have they been fighting for any of your freedoms that didn't benefit them or their buddies? I'll try to keep this short. So if you like this, if it made sense to you, like it. Maybe share it or add to it. Because come this November, I'm voting for one person only, and that's Ron Paul. I'm not going to swing to some other person or whatever. I'm not tapping on this. He's the only guy I want to send to represent the United States of America. Period. And that's it, y'all. Peace out, babies.